I'm not sure if you have any comments about that specifically, like how race has been used by Democrats or just by people in general the last few years, especially.
Well, getting back to this woman that you mentioned, this is one of the basic problems. You're not going to change, forget even Trumpers, because Trump people are so far out. The bigger problem is people in structural in corporations. How do you promote Black people from within? I just looking at that quote you had for me there, that I had a corollary question always with us: why do whites fear so much? And it's basically a precursor to this idea of white privilege. Is that look at here in COVID. I mean, it's mostly white people who don't want to wear masks. They didn't want to wear masks. They have prolonged, in this country at least, this current medical crisis, because it's too goddamn big of a thing to ask you to just wear a fucking mask. I've worked hard labor through this whole crisis, and I wear a mask. Don't tell me you can't go walk down to your local deli or your local McDonald's and wear a fucking mask. But they have that privilege. If you're going driving in a car and you're pulled over and the sirens go. Now I get nervous by that, but if I were Black, I'd be really nervous about that. The simple way to do it is just act normal around most people. I was just recently arguing with these couple of idiots on Quora about skin color of Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens and the whole out of Africa theory. And I ended up with two people arguing against two people. One was this Black guy, I presume, he didn't have a photo, but who's arguing about the whole Black Egyptians nonsense, which has been debunked.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah, which has been thoroughly debunked. And then on the opposite side, this white woman from Finland who thinks that white was the default. So you have this woman from Finland.
Default out of Africa, like in Africa, they were white coming out.
She thinks that humans that evolved in Africa were white, and then they devolved to become dark skin. And then this other Black Egyptians nut thinks that he doesn't understand that, for example, most Neanderthals were lighter skinned than the Africans who came into Europe. So Homo sapiens, when they came in to kill the Neanderthals, they were the darkest skinned human beings, killed most of the Neanderthals. And this guy will use a link to say, oh, they found some darker melanin in some Neanderthal sites in Indonesia, because we're not talking about Indonesian Neanderthals, and here and there in Europe. And I'm like, yes, just like there's many skin tones in modern humans, clearly Neanderthals had a variety of skin tones. Not everyone is literally as black as spades or as white as a swan. And then, like I said, the other woman is. But I dismissed the Black Egyptians idiot just as easily as I dismissed the white racist idiot. And I think I mentioned to you before, wherever I've worked, especially in blue collar and work situations, at every job I've ever had, whatever Black people are there, they'll come and sit. When they sit with me on a break, they'll start talking to me, because if someone's an idiot, I don't care if they're Black or white, I'll call them an idiot. But most white people, especially white liberals, if this was a Black guy who was talking this Black Egyptians nonsense, they'd be like, I've never thought about that. I mean, you make such good points. I mean, I'll have to look up on that. Whereas I know that it's bunkum that's been debunked, and the only people who promote that stuff are History Channel buffs, and the History Channel is not about history.